Most people don't realize this. 40% of what you do every single day isn't a conscious choice. It's habit. Psychologists call this autopilot living and explains why weeks and even years slip by without actual progress. One study found that the brain's default mode network lights up when we're not focused, running on old scripts while our conscious self checks out. That's why we can drive home and not even remember the trip, or spend decades in a job you never wanted. If you ever felt like life is happening to you instead of through you, this is why. The hidden cost is that comfort and repetition erase meaning from your days. The good news is, autopilot is not destiny. You can wake up, take back control, and design your own path. Habits run the show. Our brains automate repeated actions to save energy. Studies at Duke found that half of our behavior each day isn't deliberate decisions but unconscious routines. That's sufficient with brushing your teeth, but destructive when your daily loop is scrolling TikTok until midnight. The more a habit repeats, the less brain activity it requires. Your body moves, your mind drifts, and life blurs together. Comfort is addictive. We're wired to prefer the familiar, even when it hurts us. Psychologists call it the status quo bias. We'd rather tolerate unhappiness than risk uncertainty. So people stay in jobs that drain them or routines that numb them. The brain weighs potential losses heavier than potential gains. You tell yourself, better the devil I know, while the years pass by. Helplessness becomes learned. When you try to change and it fails, or when the world keeps reinforcing that people like you don't succeed, you stop trying. Martin Seligman called this learned helplessness, believing you have no control even when you do. Add Carl Dweck's concept of a fixed mindset, thinking your skills and intelligence can't improve, and you have a recipe for permanent stagnation. The voice in your head whispers why bother, and you obey it. Modern life numbs us. Autoplay, infinite feeds, and 24/7 entertainment trains us to consume instead of create. You don't have to decide what to do next. The algorithm decides for you. Couple that with the stress of long work hours, and you end up in survival mode. Under chronic stress, your brain defaults to the easiest routine possible. That means the couch, your phone, and another wasted night. Together, these forces explain why so many people drift. They don't choose autopilot. It just takes over when habits, fear, and distraction converge. The result? Quiet resignation. Henry David Thoreau called it a life of quiet desperation. The script was written for you, and you never stopped to edit it. The common view is that you need extreme discipline or endless motivation to break free. That's wrong. What you really need is awareness and design. Instead of seeing life as something that just happens, treat it as something you actively architect. James Clear put it simply, habits are the compound interest of self-improvement that build silently, whether you pay attention or not. The problem isn't habits themselves, it's letting the wrong ones accumulate. Carol Dweck's research proves that when you shift from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset, stagnation turns into momentum. Every failure becomes feedback instead of final. Change begins with observing yourself. When you catch your unconscious patterns without judgment, you interrupt the script. Awareness is disruption. Alan Watts said the real secret of life is to be completely engaged with what you are doing in the here and now. When you live like that, autopilot loses its grip. The shift is simple but radical. Stop drifting as a passenger in routines you never chose and start piloting your days with intention. Here's how to put this perspective into practice. Number 1, catch yourself on autopilot. Awareness is the first lever. Set a reminder on your phone that asks, what am I doing and why? Pause, look around, and notice. Are you scrolling out of boredom, eating because you're stressed, nodding in a meeting without listening? The moment you notice, you're awake. Dispenza calls this becoming the observer. It's not about judgment, it's about clarity. Number 2, clarify what matters. Most people stay on autopilot because they don't know what they want. If you don't set your own direction, habit sets it for you. Take a notebook and write, What activities make me feel alive? What kind of life would I regret not pursuing? What values do I actually care about? James Clear calls this defining your North Star. Without it, the default life wins by inertia. Number 3, you have to break the routine. Autopilot thrives on sameness. Novelty wakes the brain. Schedule one new experience each week. It doesn't have to be big. Take a different route to work. Try out a new recipe. Sign up for a free online class. Novelty triggers dopamine, which increases motivation and learning. It forces your brain out of the comfort zone, where it stops paying attention. Number 4, rewire your habits. Don't fight bad habits with willpower. Replace them with better ones. Habits run on cues and rewards. If your cue after work is walking through the door and your routine is crashing out on the couch, change the routine. Put your running shoes by the door and make a walk the default. The reward is the same, relief from the day, but you've redirected it. Over time, new routines carry you forward without constant effort. 5, reframe your mindset. Catch the fixed thoughts and add yet. I'm not good at tech yet. I don't have an audience yet. This word opens a door every time you apply it. You strengthen the growth mindset. Over time, you stop seeing challenges as barriers and start seeing them as invitations. Number 6, find your tribe. Environment shapes behavior. If everyone around you is coasting, you're likely to coast too. Join online communities of creators. Find a local meetup, or simply follow and engage with people who are building something. Share your progress. Let their momentum rub off on you. Energy multiplies in groups. Number 7, celebrate small wins. Don't wait for a big breakthrough to feel proud. Each intentional action is proof you're changing. Write 200 words for your blog, that's a win. Skipped an hour of TV to work on your craft, that's another win. James Clear advises, never miss twice. Small wins compound faster than you think. These steps are not glamorous, but they're powerful. They don't demand a total life overhaul. They demand small, deliberate choices that stack into a new story. Here's the uncomfortable truth. If you don't change your direction, nothing changes. Habits, distraction, and fear will keep running the show until one day you wake up and realize decades have passed. The risk isn't failure, it's regret. It's looking back and knowing you lived someone else's script instead of your own. Looking back and knowing you could have started something, did something, but never gave yourself the chance. You don't need to blow up your life to stop sleepwalking. You need to wake up one day at a time, one choice at a time. The question isn't, can I change? Because you can. The question is, when will I start? Because today is either another autopilot day or the first of many where you finally take the wheel.